Okay, one last question. I think this has also been asked many, many times about the so-called silence of the Muslim world. So, what do you have to say about that?
Uh, I'll just share with you an anecdote. I don't remember the exact exact name of that professor. He's a professor in Columbia University. He's a Palestinian professor, and he has written an article I read in back in 2022 when I was in Israel, that why Arab world doesn't stand up to Israel. And it's a mere anecdotal, it doesn't have an evidence, and then we'll get into details. Perhaps we know that how Israel has a superb intelligence services, and
Right.
its services are being used by even those nations who don't have bilateral relations with Israel, say Bangladesh, say Malaysia, Indonesia. Reports keep emerging that how even Pakistan has secret deals with Israel when it comes to spy softwares and
Right.
apps. Now, that professor, I'm sorry that I can't recollect his name right now. He had written an article saying that back in 60s and 70s, when after the creation of the state of Israel, it has started developing relations with the opposition leaders in Arab world, the ones who are now in power. So those secrets are very well known to the Israeli system. There are authorities there.
Right.
So you have Jordan, which is one of the which is also called a vassal state of
Vessels,
US. So it's a model state. It shares borders with Israel. They have water agreement. They have security agreement, security coordination. Because when ISIS was attacking in Syria and in Lebanon, it was just Jordan which was saved by having coordination with Israel, which gave them aerial support as well. So I'm just talking about Jordan as one country, but generally the general sentiment in the Arab world and different think tanks have shown that how the authorities in these countries have a very different perspective about the war than the general people. The general mood on the ground, we saw it in Qatar World Cup. Israeli journalists were sort of trolled there. They were heckled there. None of the people, most of them, were not willing to come on those cameras which was being operated by Israeli channels. So this is something which we tend to not understand, that the general sentiment on ground. We saw that on repeatedly on Fridays there were protests in Jordan for the first 6-7 months. People used to get out the embassy. People used to march towards the Israel-Jordan border or West Bank Jordan border. But since you don't have democracy in most of the Middle Eastern countries, so certainly that is why a Bloomberg report recently came in that how Saudi Arabia is arresting Israeli critics. Immediately after that report was published, many Saudi influencers on the social media came out to say that, hey, I have been writing against Israel, but I have not been arrested. Similarly, there are many states which have secret arrangement as far as security cooperation is concerned, and that is exactly why they don't go against Israel in open, or they don't even sever their ties.